The Unbreakable Mind by Jonathan Ray Carter. Introduction. Awakening the mind that cannot be broken. There is a silent strength that lives within us all, a force not of muscle, wealth, or words, but of the mind. In the stillness of early mornings, in the silence after defeat, in the darkness of uncertainty, this strength waits. It is forged not in comfort, but in the crucible of adversity. And when awakened, it becomes unbreakable. This book is not about tricks or quick fixes. It is not about pretending life is easy or ignoring pain. The Unbreakable Mind is about seeing pain for what it is, a messenger. It whispers to us in the voice of hardship and resistance, calling us not to surrender, but to rise. Every challenge you have faced, every doubt, every fear, every fall, has been shaping something deeper. You, and more importantly, the mind that guides you. We live in an age of overstimulation and under-reflection. Our attention is scattered, our emotions hijacked, our spirits drained by the never-ending noise of comparison and fear. But beneath all of that is a choice. The choice to reclaim your mind, to sharpen your focus, to root yourself in discipline and clarity. That is where true power begins. The unbreakable mind does not mean a life without suffering. It means you no longer crumble beneath it. It does not mean always being fearless, but choosing courage in the presence of fear. It is the ability to think clearly when the world around you is in chaos. It is showing up again and again, especially when you least feel like it. In this journey, you will not be taught how to escape your struggles. You will learn how to master them. We will explore the habits, the philosophies, and the mental frameworks that have helped warriors, thinkers, athletes, and everyday survivors rise with relentless inner strength. Each chapter is a tool, a weapon for your mental arsenal. Use them well. You may have been broken before. You may have faced storms that shook your identity, your peace, or your belief in yourself. That is okay. What matters now is not what broke you, but what you build next. And that begins in the mind. This is your call to strength. Not to be perfect, but to be resilient. Not to win every battle, but to never surrender your spirit. Not to be unscarred, but to be unshaken. You were not born with an unbreakable mind, but you can build one. And it starts here. Chapter 1. The Call to Strength. There is a moment in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. Relationships crumble, dreams fade, energy drains, and you feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. In those moments, something deep inside you begins to stir. It's not loud, it's not proud, but it's persistent. It's a whisper, a call to strength. This call doesn't come during the easy times. It arrives when you're backed into a corner, when you feel like quitting, when no one is coming to rescue you. It comes when you've had enough of living in fear, enough of making excuses, enough of feeling like you're stuck in a life you didn't choose. That's when your mind begins to speak. There's more in you than you've been told. Most people ignore this voice. They numb it with distractions, drown it in noise, or run from it because answering the call to strength means stepping into discomfort. It means facing the truth that no one is coming to save you, and that the power you've been waiting for has always been inside you. But here's the truth. The strength you want is not found outside. It's found within. Strength isn't something you suddenly gain. It's something you build. Brick by brick, decision by decision. You build it every time you show up when it's easier to stay in bed. You build it every time you say no to distractions, yes to growth, and keep going even when it hurts. That's how mental strength is forged, not in moments of comfort, but in the heat of resistance. The call to strength is not about pretending to be tough. It's not about suppressing your emotions or acting like nothing bothers you. It's about emotional honesty. It's about recognizing your pain, then rising above it. It's about staring down fear and choosing to act anyway. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be the smartest, strongest, or most experienced. All you need is the willingness to start, right where you are, with what you have, from the heart you carry. Answering the call to strength is the first step in building an unbreakable mind. It won't happen overnight, and it won't happen without struggle. But it will happen if you choose it. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your rise. Chapter 2: The Storm Inside. The greatest battles we fight are not visible to the world. They are the ones that rage quietly in the corners of our mind. Anxiety, fear, insecurity, doubt. These emotions don't always roar like thunder. Sometimes they creep in silently, like a fog, slowly blurring our vision and convincing us we are not enough. Everyone carries a storm within. It may be a childhood wound, a failure you can't forget, a fear of being alone, or an overwhelming pressure to be perfect. These inner storms manifest differently for each of us, but they all have one thing in common: they grow stronger when we avoid them. The mind is a mirror and a battlefield. What you suppress will eventually surface, and when it does, it won't ask for permission. That's why ignoring your internal struggles doesn't make you strong. It makes you vulnerable. Strength begins when you stop running and start listening. Anxiety is often a signpost, not a sentence. It tells us where something inside is misaligned. Fear, when studied rather than feared, becomes a guide. And doubt, when challenged with courage and clarity, becomes a doorway to growth. To master the storm inside, you must learn the art of stillness. Stillness doesn't mean the absence of emotion. It means creating space to observe those emotions without being ruled by them. When you observe your thoughts without judgment, you realize something powerful. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. One of the most empowering shifts you can make is to stop identifying with your pain. You can feel anxiety without being anxious. You can feel fear without becoming fearful. This distinction is what separates those who break down from those who break through. Mental strength is not the absence of storms. It's the ability to walk through the rain, soaked and shaken, and still keep moving forward. It's knowing that your value doesn't disappear just because your confidence wavers. The storm inside will come and go. But if you stand firm, you will remain. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't need to have perfect mental clarity. But you do need to show up. You need to face the storm inside with honesty, patience, and compassion. This is the work of becoming unbreakable. Not by erasing pain, but by embracing it as part of your transformation. You are not lost in the storm. You are learning to command it. Chapter 3: Discipline the Invisible Armor. Discipline is not glamorous. It rarely earns applause. It doesn't shine in the spotlight or make headlines. Yet, it is the invisible armor worn by the strongest minds in the world. Where motivation flickers and fades, discipline stands unshaken. It is the foundation on which an unbreakable mind is built. We live in a world addicted to quick wins and instant gratification. We chase motivation like a drug, hoping for the next burst of energy or inspiration to save us. But motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is consistent. It shows up when you're tired. It stays when you're uninspired. It keeps you grounded when your emotions try to pull you off course. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early to train, showing up for your goals even on bad days, keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. It's built in silence, in the small choices made every day, to rise instead of snooze, to read instead of scroll, to act instead of wait. And here's the truth most people avoid. Discipline is freedom. When you master your actions, you free yourself from regret, from chaos, from the exhausting cycle of starting and stopping. You stop being reactive to life and start becoming the architect of it. Some people think discipline makes life rigid, but it's the opposite. Discipline gives you strength to bend without breaking. It creates room for creativity, growth, and peace, because you know you are in control. You no longer need to be ruled by feelings or external circumstances. You have a system. You have direction. But don't confuse discipline with perfection. You will slip. You will miss days. You will make mistakes. That's okay. The disciplined mind doesn't aim for flawless performance. It aims for consistency. Progress over perfection. Showing up again and again until the act becomes identity. If you want to build a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure, start by building your discipline. Start small. Make one promise to yourself and keep it. Then build on that. One brick at a time. In the face of fear, discipline is courage. In the face of doubt, discipline is clarity. In the face of failure, discipline is persistence. You don't need motivation. You need a reason, and the discipline to honor it, daily. Chapter 4, From Reaction to Response. There is a moment, a small gap, between what happens to us and how we choose to respond. That moment, though brief, is the birthplace of power. The difference between reacting and responding determines whether we live in control of our mind or remain a prisoner of it. A reaction is immediate. It's emotional, impulsive, often rooted in past pain or fear. It's yelling back when someone disrespects you. It's quitting when you feel discouraged. It's drowning in worry at the first sign of failure. Reactions are knee-jerk. They come from the survival mind, not the strategic one. A response, however, is intentional. It is a decision made after reflection. It's measured, thoughtful, and rooted in clarity, not chaos. A response understands that you may not control the event, but you can control the meaning you give it and the action you take next. This shift from reaction to response is the mark of a maturing, unbreakable mind. When you learn to pause before acting, you reclaim your power. That pause, no matter how short, gives you space to evaluate. Is this emotion true? Is it useful? What outcome do I want, and what behavior leads me there? In that space, wisdom is born. Most people live in reaction mode. They are driven by triggers, what others say, what goes wrong, what feels uncomfortable. They live like boats tossed by waves, always at the mercy of their environment. But you are not a boat. You are the ocean. And when you respond instead of react, you remain calm beneath the surface, even when the winds of life grow wild. This doesn't mean suppressing emotion. On the contrary, it means honoring your emotion, but not letting it hijack your action. Anger can be acknowledged without aggression. Sadness can be processed without retreat. Fear can be felt without paralysis. Response gives emotion a place, but not the driver's seat. To train this habit, start with awareness. The next time you feel triggered, don't act. Just breathe. Count to 5. Name the emotion. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself? What outcome do I want? With practice, that pause becomes natural. Your mind becomes more agile. You gain emotional mastery. The strongest minds are not those that never feel. They are the ones who know how to feel without being ruled by those feelings. Reactions are reflexes. Responses are reflections. Choose reflection. This is the shift that changes everything. Chapter 5, Fortress of Focus. In today's world, the rarest commodity is not money, not time. It's focus. We are drowning in distractions. Notifications ping like sirens. Headlines scream for our attention, and our minds are pulled in 100 directions before breakfast. We scroll endlessly, multitask constantly, and wonder why we feel mentally exhausted, yet unfulfilled. The truth is simple. Your attention is being stolen, And without attention, there can be no direction, no growth, no power. Focus is not just about productivity, it is about identity. What you focus on consistently becomes your reality. Focus creates your emotions, shapes your habits, and ultimately sculpts your destiny. If your mind is constantly scattered, your life will follow the same pattern. But if you build a fortress of focus, you become unstoppable. So, what is a fortress of focus? It is a state of mental clarity so strong that distractions cannot penetrate it. It is not a gift. It is a habit, a discipline, a conscious decision to guard your mind like it is sacred ground, because it is. You must first understand, not everything deserves your attention. Most things are noise, not signal. Every time you check your phone out of boredom, switch tasks for no reason, or allow negativity to dominate your thoughts, you are giving away mental energy to something unworthy of it. To reclaim your focus, start with boundaries. Create clear times in your day for deep work, and defend those times like a warrior. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Say no to things that feel urgent but are not important. Organize your environment to reduce temptation. Simplicity sharpens clarity. Next, practice presence. The mind loves to wander, to the past, to the future, to endless what-ifs. Train it to stay here. Now. When you eat, eat. When you speak, listen. When you work, immerse. Presence is power. Lastly, train your attention like a muscle. Meditation, even just 5 minutes a day, strengthens your ability to observe thoughts without chasing them. Journaling clears mental clutter. Reading rewires focus endurance. Every act of sustained attention is a brick in your mental fortress. A distracted mind cannot be powerful. A focused mind cannot be broken. The world will keep shouting. But you must build silence within. Within that silence, your true work, your best self, and your deepest purpose will emerge. Focus is your superpower. Guard it. Grow it. Own it. Chapter 6. Pain is the path. Pain is not the enemy. It's the teacher you didn't ask for, but desperately need. In a world obsessed with comfort and convenience, we've been conditioned to believe that pain is something to avoid at all costs. But here's the truth. Everything truly meaningful in life demands discomfort. Growth begins where comfort ends. Pain wakes you up. It strips away illusions, exposes weaknesses, and shows you what truly matters. Whether it's the sting of rejection, the ache of failure, or the weight of heartbreak, pain has a way of cutting through the noise. It brings you face to face with yourself, raw, honest, and unfiltered. Most people run from pain. They numb it with distractions, bury it with denial, or blame others for it. But pain that is not processed becomes poison. It festers in the mind, influencing your choices and limiting your potential. But pain that is faced, felt, and understood, that becomes power. The unbreakable mind doesn't just endure pain, it uses it. It studies the lesson beneath the suffering. It recognizes pain as part of the process, not proof of failure. Just like muscles must tear before they grow, the mind must stretch beyond its limits to become stronger. Think of the most resilient people you admire. Warriors, leaders, artists, entrepreneurs. They all have one thing in common. They've suffered. But instead of letting pain destroy them, they let it shape them. They walked through fire and emerged refined. They turned wounds into wisdom and trials into tools. You don't have to enjoy pain, but you must learn to respect it. When things fall apart, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What can I build from here? Sometimes pain shows up to redirect you, to toughen you, or to push you toward your true potential. The key is not to avoid discomfort, but to lean into it with courage and curiosity. Every moment of struggle is a seed of transformation. Every hardship you endure becomes part of the armor you wear. Pain sharpens your perspective, fuels your fire, and humbles your heart. Let pain shape you, not shatter you. Let it awaken your depth, not destroy your spirit. The path is not easy, but easy never made anyone unbreakable. Walk it anyway. Because pain is not a punishment. It is a portal to power, purpose, and your highest self. Chapter 7: The Warrior's Routine. The difference between ordinary and unbreakable isn't found in a single grand act. It's found in the daily, disciplined routine of a focused mind. A warrior does not wait for perfect circumstances. A warrior builds systems that prepare the mind and body for battle, every single day. In a world full of chaos, a routine is your anchor. It grounds you. It reminds you who you are and what you're here to do. Without it, your days become dictated by distractions and emotional impulses. With it, you live with intention, not by accident. But this isn't about having a strict military-style schedule. This is about consciously designing habits that strengthen your resilience and sharpen your focus. The warrior's routine is not rigid. It's deliberate. It protects your energy, nurtures your discipline, and trains your mind to perform under pressure. It starts in the morning. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Don't reach for your phone. Reach inward. Breathe. Reflect. Move. Create space before the world demands your attention. Morning routines don't need to be long. They need to be yours. Something as simple as 10 minutes of journaling, meditation, or a short workout can unlock clarity and momentum. Next, focus on movement. A strong body supports a strong mind. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to be a warrior. You just need to move, daily. Walk, stretch, lift, run. Movement shakes off mental fog and builds discipline one rep at a time. Nourishment matters too. What you put into your body fuels how you think and feel. Eat clean, drink water, rest deeply. These are not luxuries. They're strategic advantages for an unbreakable mind. Then, schedule your focus. Block time for deep work. Eliminate distractions. Train your brain to dive fully into one task at a time. The world might celebrate multitasking, but mastery comes from presence. And perhaps most importantly, close your day with reflection. Ask yourself, did I live with intention today? Where did I win? Where can I grow? End your night with purpose, and your mornings will begin with power. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your routines. Build like a warrior. Live like a champion. Repeat like it's your mission. Because it is. Chapter 8: Stoic in the Storm. Life is not a question of if storms will come. It's a matter of when. Chaos, pain, uncertainty, betrayal, loss. These are not exceptions. They are part of the human experience. What separates the fragile from the unbreakable is how we stand in the storm. And to stand strong, we must learn to be stoic. Stoicism is not about being emotionless. It is about emotional mastery. It is the discipline of not letting external circumstances shake your internal peace. When you become stoic, you stop reacting to the world and start commanding yourself. The Stoics of ancient times, like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, understood something profound. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. In that truth lies freedom. In that practice lies power. Being stoic in the storm means staying calm when others panic. It means thinking clearly under pressure, staying grounded when criticized, and acting from principle, not impulse. This does not come naturally. It is trained. It is earned through repeated self-observation and intentional stillness. To cultivate a stoic mind, begin by separating what you can control from what you cannot. You cannot control the weather, the economy, or the behavior of others. But you can always control your focus, your attitude, your effort, your values. That is your power. Stay rooted there. Next, practice voluntary hardship. Do things that are difficult on purpose: cold showers, fasting, silence, waking early. Why? Because if you can endure voluntary discomfort, you'll be unshaken by involuntary hardship. You become mentally prepared, not just physically conditioned. Stoicism also teaches you to embrace the temporary nature of life. Nothing lasts forever, not the pain, not the pleasure. Knowing this brings humility in success and serenity in suffering. You stop clinging and start flowing. The storm may come with noise, chaos, and confusion, but you can become the eye of it. Calm, centered, focused. People will try to provoke you. Life will try to break you. But the Stoic mind remains still, not because it's weak, but because it's wise. Still waters reflect truth. Turbulent waters distort it. When you are calm, you think clearly. When you are grounded, you act wisely. Be the rock in the crashing waves. Be the silence in the shouting crowd. Be the stoic in the storm. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Chapter 9: The Power of Silence. In a noisy world, silence has become a superpower. We live in constant stimulation, scrolling, listening, reacting, speaking. Silence, once natural, now feels uncomfortable. But for the unbreakable mind, silence is not emptiness. It is clarity. It is not weakness. It is strength refined. Silence is where the mind returns to itself. It's the space between thoughts where wisdom lives. When you allow yourself to sit in silence, without distractions, without needing to respond, you begin to hear what's really going on beneath the surface. Your fears, your truths, your desires, all become visible. Silence reveals what noise tries to hide. The most powerful people in history understood this. Warriors meditated before battle. Philosophers sat in reflection before they spoke. Leaders paused before they acted. They knew silence isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the inner work that the outer world ignores. In silence, your thoughts begin to slow. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. That simple awareness is the gateway to mental mastery. You stop being reactive. You stop being pulled by every emotion. You start choosing how to think, how to respond, how to live. But silence is not always comfortable. It forces you to face yourself. That's why so many avoid it. They fill the quiet with distractions to avoid the truth. But the truth is where your transformation begins. If you want to grow, you must first become still. Start small. 5 minutes a day. No phone, no music. Just sit. Breathe. Observe. At first, your mind will resist. It will search for noise. That's okay. Let it. Then gently bring it back. Over time, that silence will feel less like a void and more like a sanctuary. The power of silence also applies to your voice. Not every emotion needs to be spoken. Not every opinion needs to be shared. The unbreakable mind knows when to speak and when to listen. Knows that restraint is not suppression, but wisdom. Some of your greatest breakthroughs won't come in noise or action, but in stillness. Silence helps you reset, recharge, and realign. It connects you to your intuition, and your intuition, once awakened, becomes your compass in the chaos. In the quiet, you remember who you are. Let the world shout. Let the noise rise. But within you, build silence like a temple. For the mind that learns to be still can never be shaken. Chapter 10: Reprogramming the Narrative. The most powerful story you will ever hear is not the one told by others. It's the one you tell yourself. Every day, you are narrating your life in your mind, shaping your identity with silent scripts like, "I'm not good enough. I always fail. This is just who I am." These thoughts may seem harmless, but repeated often enough, they become your beliefs. And beliefs drive behavior. Your mind is a storyteller. It doesn't just remember the past, it interprets it. And sometimes, those interpretations become distorted. A single failure becomes, I'm a failure. A broken relationship becomes, I'm unlovable. These inner narratives can quietly sabotage your confidence, your goals, and your peace. But here's the truth. Your thoughts are not facts. They are patterns. And like any pattern, they can be rewritten. To build an unbreakable mind, you must become the editor of your internal dialogue. You must question it, challenge it, and consciously reprogram it. Ask yourself, who wrote this script? Is it true? Is it helping me or holding me back? Reprogramming begins with awareness. Start noticing the language you use about yourself. Do you speak to yourself with kindness or criticism? Do you label yourself with weakness or potential? Would you say to a friend what you say to yourself? Next, create a new narrative, one rooted in truth and possibility. This doesn't mean lying to yourself with empty affirmations. It means shifting from I can't to I'm learning, from I always mess up to I'm getting better, from I'm broken to I'm healing. These shifts may seem small, but they carry massive power. Visualization is another powerful tool. See yourself succeeding. Hear the new story in your mind. Feel it. Repetition is key. Just like the old narrative was learned over time, the new one must be practiced daily. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Believe it before you see it. Surround yourself with people and environments that reinforce your new identity. Your mind adapts to what it's consistently exposed to. Feed it growth. Protect it from poison. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the labels others gave you when they didn't understand your worth. You are the author. You can turn the page. You can write a new chapter. Your mind believes the story you repeat, so make it a story worth living. Chapter 11, The Confidence Engine. Confidence is not a gift. It is an engine, a force you build and fuel with action, self-respect, and consistency. Most people wait to feel confident before they take a leap. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You don't become confident by thinking about success. You become confident by doing hard things and surviving them. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you show up when it's hard, every time you speak truth instead of hiding, you add fuel to the engine, one small win at a time. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It's the quiet knowing that you can rely on yourself, that no matter what comes, you'll face it, that your identity isn't shaken by failure, rejection, or the opinions of others. It's rooted deeper than ego. It's built on evidence. And the strongest evidence? Self-trust. You build self-trust by honoring your word. If you say you'll wake up early, do it. If you say you'll hit the gym, go. If you commit to writing the book, launching the project, speaking your truth, follow through. Every act of follow-through sends a message to your subconscious. I can count on myself. Confidence also grows in discomfort. Growth never happens in the comfort zone, and neither does belief in yourself. Push your limits. Do something that scares you every day, even in small ways. Speak up in the meeting. Try the new skill. Face the thing you've been avoiding. Discomfort is the training ground of courage. You must also stop tying your confidence to external validation. The likes, the praise, the applause, none of that lasts. When your self-worth depends on what others think, it will rise and fall with their opinions. True confidence is internal. It is earned, not granted. Protect it. Speak kindly to yourself. Surround yourself with people who challenge you and support you, not those who feed your doubt. Consume content that uplifts and sharpens you. What you feed your mind either builds you up or breaks you down. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. Willing to fail. Willing to try again. willing to be seen as you are and stand tall anyway. You already have what it takes. Now prove it to yourself, daily. The engine is in your hands. Fuel it with action. Drive it with integrity. And watch the unbreakable mind rise. Chapter 12. Fail Forward. Failure is not the end. It's the entrance to growth, the door to discovery, the beginning of a stronger, wiser version of you. We're taught to fear failure, as if it's proof of inadequacy, weakness, or unworthiness. But in truth, failure is feedback. It doesn't say you're not good enough. It says, this is where you grow next. Every champion, every innovator, every leader has failed more times than most people have even tried. What sets them apart isn't talent. It's their ability to fail forward, to learn, adapt, and move again with more wisdom than before. The unbreakable mind does not resist failure. It uses it. Failing forward begins with reframing. Most people see failure as falling down. But the truth is, you only fail if you don't get up. If you rise, wiser, sharper, more committed, you didn't fail. You evolved. Think of failure as your personal teacher. It is direct, honest, and precise. It shows you what didn't work, what you missed, and where you need to strengthen your approach. If you listen without ego, it gives you everything you need to win next time. But you must be willing to be seen stumbling. You must let go of the need to appear perfect or always right. Perfection is a mask. Progress is the mission. Failing forward is what builds true resilience and lasting self-confidence. Action creates clarity. Mistakes create mastery. You want to get stronger? Try. Miss. Adjust. Repeat. You want to lead? Speak. Fail. Reflect. Grow. You want to love? Open. Risk. Hurt. Heal. Avoiding failure is avoiding growth. The most stagnant people are not the ones who failed the most. They're the ones who never started because they feared falling. But life rewards the bold, not the perfect. So, what do you do when you fall? 1. Reflect. Don't rush to blame. Ask what you can learn. 2. Reframe. See failure as a step forward, not back. 3. Restart. Use the lesson to come back smarter and stronger. Fail forward enough, and eventually, failure becomes familiar. Not something to fear, but something to expect, embrace, and overcome. Your path will not be clean. Your progress will not be linear. But if you keep stepping, even when you stumble, you will rise higher than you ever imagined. Fall with grace, rise with grit, and fail forward, on purpose. Chapter 13. The Discipline of Saying No. The strength of your life is not only determined by what you say yes to, but by what you have the courage to say no to. Saying no is one of the most underrated disciplines of the unbreakable mind. It is a boundary, a decision, a declaration. My time, energy, and focus are not for rent. Every yes you give to something that doesn't align with your purpose is a no to something that does. Most people struggle with saying no because they fear rejection, disapproval, or the discomfort of confrontation. But people-pleasing is a silent killer of personal power. It drains your time, dilutes your priorities, and fills your life with obligations instead of intentions. When you lack boundaries, your mind becomes scattered. You're always doing, always reacting, constantly pulled in directions that weaken your clarity. But when you learn to say no with confidence, your focus sharpens, your energy returns. Your mission becomes louder than the noise. Saying no is not selfish, it's strategic. You must protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Your time is your life. If someone asked you to hand over your wallet, you'd hesitate. But every time you say yes to things that waste your energy, you're giving away something far more valuable: your attention, your presence, your peace. The unbreakable mind knows that discipline isn't just about doing more. It's about doing less of what doesn't matter. Less distraction, less approval seeking, less reacting to other people's agendas, more purpose, more presence, more alignment. Here's the truth. When you start saying no, some people won't like it. That's okay. You're not here to live their version of your life. You're here to build your own. Your worth is not measured by how much you please others, but by how honestly you live. To build the discipline of saying no. Know your values. If it doesn't serve them, decline. Pause before responding. Buy time to assess. Say no respectfully, not apologetically. Remember, every no is a yes to your highest priorities. You don't need to explain every no. You don't need to justify protecting your energy. Clarity is enough. Purpose is enough. Say no to what drains you. Say no to what distracts you. Say no to what dims your fire. Because every powerful yes starts with a disciplined no. Chapter 14, Vision over Emotion. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not permanent. They are messengers, not masters. They rise and fall like tides. And if you build your life on them, you'll always drift, never steer. The unbreakable mind learns to feel emotion, but follow vision. Emotion says, I'm tired. Vision says, keep going. Emotion says, this is hard. Vision says, this matters. Emotion says, quit. Vision says, grow. There is nothing wrong with feeling. Emotions are part of being human. But emotion without direction is chaos. It leads to impulsive decisions, broken promises, and wasted time. Vision is what anchors you through the storm. It is the reason behind your action, the purpose behind your persistence. When you live by emotion, you do what feels good now. When you live by vision, you do what feels right long term. One path leads to regret. The other leads to growth. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel strong, certain, or excited. But if your life is ruled by feelings, you'll abandon the very things that could transform you. Vision gives you a reason to act even when your feelings resist. To live by vision over emotion, first ask yourself, what do I want to build? Who do I want to become? What does that future require of me today? Let those answers guide your daily choices. Not your mood, not your fear, not your frustration. Discipline follows vision. Resilience follows vision. Consistency follows vision. Without it, you're just reacting to life. With it, you're designing life. Every time you're tempted to quit, to lash out, to avoid a challenge, pause, breathe, return to your vision. Ask, does this action serve my purpose or just my momentary emotion? That split-second decision is where strength is built. The unbreakable mind doesn't suppress emotion. It sees emotion clearly and still chooses action aligned with purpose. That is the highest form of power, not to feel nothing, but to choose in spite of what you feel. Vision is your North Star. Keep your eyes on it. Write it down. Speak it daily. Return to it when the road gets dark. Your mind will want to wander. Your emotions will want relief. Your vision will want progress. Listen to that voice. When emotion clouds your path, vision clears it. Feel deeply. But choose wisely. Live by vision, especially when it's hardest. That's how unbreakable minds are made. Chapter 15, Mental Endurance Training. Mental endurance is the art of staying strong long after others have quit. In a world obsessed with speed and instant results, endurance is rare. Most people want fast success, quick answers, and immediate gratification. But the unbreakable mind understands. Real strength is not how hard you hit. It's how long you can keep going when it hurts. Mental endurance is not a trait you're born with. It's a skill you train. Just like your body becomes stronger with physical resistance, your mind grows tougher through psychological resistance, delayed gratification, disciplined focus, emotional resilience. The mind fatigues before the body does. That's why endurance begins in thought. When the voice inside says, I can't, it's rarely true. It's just discomfort. And discomfort is the gym where endurance is built. So how do you train mental endurance? 1. Do things that challenge you daily. It doesn't have to be huge, just something uncomfortable. Wake up earlier than you want. Finish the task you're avoiding. Push one more rep at the gym. Each time you choose challenge over comfort, you strengthen your threshold for pressure. 2. Master your self-talk. The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. Replace "I'm tired" with "I've got more." Replace "this is too hard" with "this is how I grow." Don't lie to yourself, lead yourself. 3. Set micro goals under stress. When you feel overwhelmed, break the task into small, winnable actions. 1 page, 1 rep, 1 more minute. Mental endurance isn't about doing everything at once. It's about refusing to stop moving forward. 4. Practice consistency over intensity. You don't build endurance through occasional heroic efforts. You build it through daily discipline. Show up. Show up tired. Show up uninspired. Show up anyway. That's how resilience is formed. 5. Remember your why. When the pain rises, purpose must be louder. Mental endurance is easier when your mission is clear. Write it down. Look at it. Let it carry you through. Endurance separates the dreamers from the doers. It's not glamorous. It's gritty. But it's what greatness requires. When others rest, you rise. When others panic, you breathe. When others stop, you continue. Because you've trained for this. You've built the mind that doesn't fold. This isn't about being superhuman. It's about being consistent, focused, and unshakable. You don't need to be the fastest. You need to be the one who refuses to stop. That's mental endurance. And that's what makes you unbreakable. Chapter 16, Unseen Battles. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see. In a world where appearances dominate and highlight reels are everywhere, we forget that true struggle often happens in silence. Behind strong faces and polite smiles, many carry the weight of anxiety, depression, burnout, self-doubt, and silent suffering. These are the unseen battles, and they are real. The unbreakable mind acknowledges this truth, both in others and in oneself. It knows that strength isn't just about how much you show the world. It's about how you carry yourself in the private moments when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when no one understands. Sometimes your greatest victories won't be visible. They won't be praised. They won't even be understood. But choosing to keep going when it would be easier to collapse, that's a win. Choosing to face the day when your mind says stay in bed, that's resilience. Choosing to heal instead of numb, to try again instead of withdraw, to speak truth instead of hide, these are the invisible triumphs that shape unbreakable souls. Mental exhaustion is real. Emotional fatigue is real. And pretending you're okay when you're not only deepens the wound. The key is not to deny your struggle, it's to face it with radical honesty and courageous self-compassion. You don't need to have it all together. You don't need to pretend you're unaffected. The strongest minds allow themselves to feel, to rest, to cry, to ask for help, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to be both the warrior and the wounded. What matters is that you don't let the battle define your identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your failures. You are not your darkest day. You are the one walking through the storm, not the storm itself. To support yourself through unseen battles. Check in daily. Don't ignore your inner world. Journal your emotions. Clarity comes through expression. Talk to someone. Let connection be your medicine. Create space for rest. You don't have to earn it. You need it. Remind yourself often, this too shall pass. Everyone is fighting something, so be kind to others, to yourself. And when you make it through, as you will, reach back, help someone else through their invisible war. That's what unbreakable minds do. They fight quietly, they rise relentlessly, and they lead with empathy. Chapter 17: Unbreakable in Relationships. An unbreakable mind is not just forged in solitude, it's tested in relationships. Relationships, whether romantic, professional, or personal, are some of life's greatest teachers. They bring joy, connection, and love. But they also bring conflict, misunderstanding, and emotional pain. How you show up in relationships reveals the strength of your inner world. The unbreakable mind doesn't avoid relationships. It doesn't isolate itself for safety. Instead, it enters connection with intention, clarity, and boundaries. It knows this truth. You can be kind and firm, loving and honest, open and protected, all at once. The first relationship you must master is the one with yourself. If you don't respect yourself, you will accept disrespect from others. If you don't value your time and energy, others will waste it. If you haven't healed your wounds, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. Self-awareness is your anchor. It allows you to recognize patterns, especially the ones that sabotage your peace. Do you chase validation? Do you stay silent to avoid conflict? Do you lose your identity in the effort to keep someone close? These patterns can break even the strongest minds if left unchecked. To be unbreakable in relationships is to know where you end and others begin. It's setting healthy boundaries and enforcing them without guilt. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They don't keep love out. They keep toxicity out. You must also understand that not everyone deserves access to your mind, heart, or time. The unbreakable mind is selective, not selfish. It loves deeply, but not blindly. It gives second chances, but not endless ones. It forgives, but it doesn't forget the lesson. And when conflict arises, as it always will, the unbreakable mind chooses communication over chaos. It listens to understand, not just to respond. It speaks truth, not to hurt, but to heal. It knows that silence breeds resentment, and avoidance feeds fear. Honesty is the foundation of all enduring connection. But sometimes the most powerful act of strength is to walk away. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Staying in environments that drain your spirit is not loyalty, it's self-neglect. Protect your peace even if it costs comfort. You don't need perfect relationships, you need honest ones, aligned ones, energizing ones. Stand firm, love wisely, respect deeply, starting with yourself. Because the unbreakable mind doesn't just survive relationships, it transforms through them. Chapter 18: Your Mind, Your Kingdom. Your mind is not a battlefield, it is a kingdom, and you are its ruler. Everything begins in the mind: your thoughts, your actions, your identity, your destiny. What you allow to take root there determines the quality of your life. Just as a wise king protects the borders of his realm, you must learn to guard your mental territory with strength, clarity, and purpose. Many people live as if they're at the mercy of their thoughts, hostages to fear, prisoners of doubt, victims of the past. But an unbreakable mind doesn't surrender to chaos. It claims authority. It decides what stays, what goes, and what grows. You have more power than you think. You don't control everything that enters your mind, but you do control whether it stays. A single negative thought may pass through, but you get to choose if it builds a home. You can observe it, question it, and ultimately replace it with something better. Your mind is shaped by what you feed it. Every piece of content you consume, every conversation you entertain, every internal monologue you repeat, it all plants seeds. And over time, those seeds grow. They become beliefs, and beliefs become behavior. So the question is, are you planting weeds or wisdom? Be intentional. Surround your mind with material that uplifts, challenges, and refines you. Read books that expand your thinking. Listen to voices that promote growth, not fear. Speak to yourself like a leader, not a critic. Build your inner kingdom with values: discipline, courage, patience, focus. These are the bricks of a strong foundation. Without them, your mind becomes vulnerable to every storm, every opinion, every distraction. But with them, you stand tall, anchored, centered, unshaken. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You are not the storm. You are the sky it passes through. That awareness gives you ultimate control. Start your day like a king entering court, with clarity and command. Set your intention. Choose your thoughts. Protect your peace. And when chaos comes, don't react like a peasant. Respond like a ruler. Because when you master your mind, you master your world. Your thoughts are your soldiers. Your attention is your treasure. Your peace is your throne. Defend them. Direct them. Rule them. Your mind is your kingdom. Make it unbreakable. Repetition is key. Just like the old narrative was learned over time, the new one must be practiced daily. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Believe it before you see it. Surround yourself with people and environments that reinforce your new identity. Your mind adapts to what it's consistently exposed to. Feed it growth. Protect it from poison. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the labels others gave you when they didn't understand your worth. You are the author. You can turn the page. You can write a new chapter. Your mind believes the story you repeat, so make it a story worth living. Chapter 19. The Cold Edge. There is a place beyond comfort, a place where most won't go. It's cold, it's sharp, it's demanding, and it's where unbreakable minds are born. This place is not physical, it's mental. It's what I call the cold edge, the place where you deliberately step into discomfort, not to suffer, but to sharpen yourself. In nature, the edge is where growth happens. Trees bend in the wind, muscles tear to grow stronger, and animals adapt to harsh environments. The same is true for you. If you want to expand your mind, you must train it at the edge of your limits. That's where true mental resilience is forged. Most people avoid the edge. They stay in the warm, familiar space of comfort, repeating the same habits, thoughts, and routines. But the unbreakable mind seeks the edge on purpose, not because it enjoys pain, but because it understands the truth. Comfort doesn't build character. Adversity does. The cold edge can take many forms. Waking up before sunrise when your body screams to stay in bed. Taking cold showers that jolt your system and discipline your mind. Saying no to easy pleasures like junk food or mindless scrolling. Practicing silence when you want to speak out in anger. Facing fear when every part of you wants to run. These are not punishments. They are tools. Challenges you choose to meet in order to train the muscle of willpower. Each time you choose the cold edge, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your feelings, tougher than your fears, and braver than your excuses. At the edge, you grow sharper, more aware, more focused, more alive. You begin to trust yourself, respect yourself, lead yourself. There's a reason warriors train in extreme conditions, monks meditate in isolation, and athletes push themselves beyond exhaustion. It's not for show, it's for clarity and control. The edge strips away the noise. It introduces you to your real self. You don't need to live at the edge, but you must visit it often. Train there, stretch there, grow there. If you always choose what's easy, life will be hard. But if you regularly choose what's hard, life gets easier. The cold edge isn't punishment, it's purification, and it prepares you for anything. Go there, face it, and return, sharper, calmer, unshaken. Because comfort never made anyone unbreakable, but the cold edge will. Chapter 20. The final stand. This is it, the end of the page, the turning of a chapter, but also the beginning of something far greater. Your final stand, not a stand against the world, but a stand for yourself. You've walked through storms, faced pain, built discipline, and trained your mind. You've confronted fear, rewired self-doubt, and taken ownership of your thoughts, actions, and identity. Every page of this journey was preparing you for this moment, the one where you decide to stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. The unbreakable mind is not some mythical state of perfection. It's a way of living. A mindset you choose, moment by moment, day after day. It doesn't mean life will be easy. It means you will be ready, calm in chaos, focused under pressure, and resilient in defeat. You've seen that greatness isn't born, it's built. In silence, in small steps, in the unseen hours when no one is watching. Now, it's your responsibility to live it, to embody everything you've learned, not just when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient. Not just when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. Your final stand is the commitment to live by principle, not pressure, by values, not emotions, by clarity, not confusion. It's the vow to keep showing up, when it's raining, when it's hard, when no one claps. It's the courage to say no to what distracts you, and yes to what sharpens you. It's the refusal to let the past define you, or fear limit you. Your stand is not loud, it's not showy. It's in the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you lead yourself. You are not here to survive life, you are here to master it. So rise each day like it matters, because it does. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. And lead your life like it's your one true mission, because it always has been. Let this not just be a book you read, let it be a standard you live by, because the world doesn't need more followers. It needs more minds that cannot be broken, more hearts that will not fold, more humans who rise when others run. This is your stand, your crown, your calling. Go now, and live unbreakable.